Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling, well, the invisible half of wealth building. It's the stuff that, nobody puts on their vision board, nobody brags about at parties, but it is the absolute bedrock that determines if you actually get to keep the money you make.
It is good to be back, and you are so right. This is not the glamorous side of finance.
Not at all.
It's not your crypto moonshots or real estate empires. But in the grand scheme of the Golden Path strategy, this is a pivotal moment.
Right, and for anyone who might be joining us midway, we should probably set the stage. We're analyzing the Golden Path strategy, which is a 3-stage system for building financial independence. It was developed by Tamir Kaham.
That's right. Tamir is the originator and the architect of this 3-stage, 13-step strategy. He's also the creator of the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence.
And he's also the official Hebrew translator of The Richest Man in Babylon by George Samuel Klassen.
It's really that specific mix that makes this standout ancient wisdom about stewardship and protection, combined with hard-nosed systematic risk management. That's what turns temporary growth into lasting security.
And the strategy itself is designed for salaried individuals, right? People who want to move from that state of financial dependence to true asset ownership.
Ancient wisdom combined with systematic risk management. I mean, that really is the key phrase for today. Welcome to Episode 9, Protecting Your Path.
Okay.
We are now in Stage 2, which is building financial resilience, and this is Step 10 of our journey.
So this is the moment where we stop thinking only about growing the pile.
Exactly, and we start ensuring we can actually keep what we've built.
Okay, let's unpack this, because risk management usually sounds like the boring part of the meeting where, everyone just zones out.
Right.
But the stakes here feel a lot higher. We've spent the last few sessions building up some serious momentum. We stabilized cash flow. We're saving automatically. We've tackled debt. We're feeling good. So why are we stopping now to talk about insurance and protection? Why not just go straight to investing?
Because growth without protection isn't freedom.
Okay.
It's fragility. That's the core theme of Step 10.
Fragility.
Think about it. You can build, you can save, invest, hustle for 15 years. You can do everything right on the offense.
Yeah.
But if you haven't built shields around that progress, one unmanaged risk, a medical crisis, a lawsuit, a sudden disability, it can erase decades of work.
In a single afternoon. That's a terrifying thought.
It happens every single day.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, and everyone listening right now, is your financial house built of brick, or is it a house of cards just waiting for the first serious gust of wind?
That is a heavy image. And I think a lot of us, especially when we start seeing some success, the net worth graph is finally going up and to the right. We get a little arrogant. We don't like thinking about the wind. We just assume the weather's always going to be fair.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's why Step 10 is positioned exactly here in the system.
After automation.
Right after Step 9, automation. The machine is running. The money is flowing where it needs to go. So before we move into Stage 3, which is where we start aggressively acquiring assets.
And taking on more risk.
And taking on the risks that come with ownership, we have to secure the foundation. If you start buying real estate or businesses without these shields in place, you're not building wealth. You're just increasing your surface area for disaster.
You're just building a bigger target for Murphy's Law.
Exactly.
I want to push back on the psychology of this a little bit.
Treat.
Because intellectually, I get it. Buy insurance, be safe. But emotionally, writing that check for an insurance premium feels like, well, it feels like a defeat. It feels like throwing money into a black hole,
Right.
Almost like a tax on my happiness. How do we get over that mental hurdle?
That feeling you're describing, that's what behavioral economists call the immunity illusion.
Immunity illusion.
It's a psychological trap where we all quietly believe it won't happen to me. We look at statistics, cancer rates, car accidents, lawsuits, and our brain just codes those as things that happen to other people.
Right. I'm the main character in this movie. I have plot armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in a long-term system, and remember, the Golden Path is designing a system for a lifetime, maybe 40 or 50 years.
Right.
Risk is not a question of if, it is a question of when. Something will break, something will happen.
So how does an asset owner, which is the identity we're cultivating here, how do they look at this differently than, say, a typical employee?
Great question. An employee views insurance as a nuisance cost. I have to pay this because the law says so, or because my mortgage requires it.
It's a deduction they want to get rid of.
Correct. An asset owner, on the other hand, views protection as a structural necessity. You're not just an investor, you are a system designer.
Oh.
You're responsible for preserving the structure that supports your entire life. And the reframe here is crucial. Protection is not fear-based.
It's responsibility-based. It's part of the job description.
It is the job description. And think of it this way. Protection isn't a brake that slows you down.
Okay.
It's the seatbelt and the brakes that allow you to drive faster with confidence.
Explain that. How does safety make me faster? Usually safety is what slows things down.
Not in systems engineering. I mean, if you're driving a Formula One car, you can only take a corner at 100 miles an hour because you trust the brakes in the safety cell.
Right.
If you were in a go-kart with no seatbelt and bad brakes, you'd have to crawl around that corner at 10 miles an hour because a single mistake would be fatal.
So you can't aggressively pursue Step 11 acquiring assets if you're terrified that one wrong move's going to wipe you out.
Exactly. The shield gives you the confidence to be aggressive on offense.
You love that. The seatbelt allows the speed. Okay, let's map this to our favorite analogy for this series, the rocket launch. Where are we now at Step 10?
All right, let's check the telemetry. The rocket has cleared the launch pad. That was Step 5, cash flow stabilization. We've dropped the heavy boosters, all that dead weight. That was Step 8, dead elimination. We've engaged the autopilot. That was Step 9.
All right.
Step 10 is initial orbit stabilization.
Initial orbit stabilization. So we're not going to the moon just yet.
We are in orbit. The engines have fired. We have velocity. But just like a spacecraft needs trajectory corrections and thermal shields to handle debris or solar flares, your finances need stabilization.
So the goal of Step 10 is to make sure that one single deviation...
single event, doesn't cause a total mission failure.
Yeah.
We are locking in the orbit so we don't crash back down to Earth.
Okay, so we're up there, we're moving, but we need to make sure we stay there. Let's get technical. What exactly are we shielding? Because risk is a big, scary, vague word.
It is.
Are we talking about the stock market crashing? Or getting fired?
Asteroids. We break it down into 4 pillars, the 4 pillars of protection. If you want to audit your life right now, these are the 4 categories you have to look at. If you miss one, the wall has a hole in it.
Okay, let's walk through them. Pillar 1.
Pillar 1 is personal risks. This is interesting. It's the most important one and also the most neglected, especially by young people.
Okay.
This is protecting the human capital. It's protecting you.
Because I'm the engine.
You are the primary income generator for this whole system.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about the math. If you're 30 years old and you earn $100,000 a year and you plan to work until you're 60,
yeah,
even without any raises, you are a $3 million asset.
Wow. I have never thought of it that way. I am a $3 million asset walking around.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
If you had a machine in your basement that printed $100,000 a year, legitimately, would you insure it?
I'd have armed guards around it. I'd have a fire suppression system. I'd be checking on it every hour.
Precisely. But people will insure their $30,000 car before they insure their $3 million income potential.
Yeah.
It's mathematically insane to leave this exposed, but people do it.
That is a massive reality check. Okay, so we insure the car because the bank makes us, but we ignore the actual engine. Okay. Pillar 2.
Pillar 2 is asset risks. This is what people are more familiar with. Physical property. Your home, your car, maybe some business equipment. We're preventing total loss from damage, fire, or theft.
Right. This is standard homeowners and auto insurance. The goal here is basically if the house burns down, you need to be able to rebuild it without draining your investment accounts.
Correct. You transfer that replacement cost to an insurance company so your capital stays intact.
Got it. Pillar 3.
Pillar 3 is the silent killer.
Ooh.
Liability risks.
This sounds legal and expensive.
It is both. We're talking about lawsuits, third-party claims. In our society, this is a massive, massive exposure. If someone gets injured on your property or you cause a serious car accident, or if you're a business owner and face a professional suit, your entire net worth can be attached to that judgment.
So if I have, say, $500,000 saved up in my brokerage account and I get sued for $1 million,
that $500,000 is likely gone, and your future wages could be garnished for years. For many aspiring asset owners, this is the biggest unknown exposure. They just don't realize their future is on the table.
And this is where things like an umbrella policy come in, right?
Exactly. An umbrella policy sits on top of your home and auto insurance. It kicks in when their limits are exhausted. And it's usually very cheap for a lot of coverage.
Really?
Yeah, like a few $100s a year for $1 million in coverage. The likelihood of needing it is low, but the impact, if you do need it, is catastrophic.
And the potential loss has no ceiling.
No ceiling at all.
That's terrifying. Okay, let's move to Pillar 4 before I hide under my desk.
Pillar 4 is cash flow risks. This is about ensuring the income stream survives interruptions.
So market downturns, layoffs, that kind of thing.
Market downturns, layoffs, business interruptions, yeah.
We talked about the emergency fund back in Step 7. Is this the same thing?
It connects to Step 7, but it goes a little deeper. Step 7 was about having cash for a rainy day. Cash flow risk management is about structuring your life so that a recession doesn't force you to sell your long-term assets at a loss just to buy groceries.
Ah, I see. It's about not being a forced seller.
You've got it.
So if the market crashes by 40% and I lose my job at the same time, which often happens together.
Often does.
I don't want to have to sell my stocks at the bottom just to pay my mortgage.
Exactly. That destroys wealth permanently. You lock in the loss. Protection here means having enough liquidity, cash, bonds, whatever, to outlast the storm without touching the core assets.
Okay, so we have personal, asset, liability, and cash flow. That covers the map. But hearing all that, I feel like I could spend my entire paycheck just buying insurance policies for every possible thing that could go wrong.
You could.
I could insure my toaster. I could insure my pet hamster. How do we decide what to actually buy without going broke on premiums?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Because you can be overinsured. There's a core rule in the Golden Path strategy that simplifies everything.
Okay.
Insure catastrophic risks. Self-insure nuisance risks.
Okay, distinguish those for me. What qualifies as a nuisance?
A nuisance risk is anything you can replace with cash on hand without really changing your lifestyle.
Yeah.
If your toaster breaks, you do not need toaster insurance.
Right.
If your phone screen cracks, you probably don't need insurance for that if you have a solid emergency fund. Those are nuisance risks.
I'm not going bankrupt over a toaster.
Mhm.
But the sales guy at the electronics store really wants me to buy that extended warranty.
And you should always say no. Those warranties are profit centers for them, not real protection for you. You self-insure those small losses with your savings.
Okay. So then what's the definition of a catastrophic risk?
Catastrophic risk is an event that would bankrupt you or permanently alter your standard of living.
Yeah.
A disability that stops you from working for 10 years. A lawsuit for $1 million. A house fire. You transfer the risk you absolutely cannot afford to a third party.
That makes perfect sense. Stop insuring the small stuff, double down on the big stuff. It seems so simple, but people still get this wrong all the time. What are the common traps you see?
3 fallacies I see constantly. First is the youth fallacy.
I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need it.
I don't need disability or life insurance yet. Exactly. Which feels logical, right? I'm not sick, so why pay?
It feels like paying for a parking spot when you don't have a car.
The flaw in that logic is that insurance is based on risk pools.
Right.
The reality is when you are young and healthy, that is exactly when coverage is cheapest and when you are most insurable. Once you get sick or have a back injury, you can't get the coverage, or it becomes prohibitively expensive. You buy protection when you don't need it, so you have it when you do.
Got it. Lock it in while you're prime stock. What's trap number 2?
The investment fallacy. This person who says, insurance is dead money. I'll take those premiums and invest them in the stock market instead. I'll self-insure through wealth.
Oh, I hear this one all the time. The math optimizers. They say, if I invest that $100 a month at 7% interest, I'll have way more money in 30 years.
Right. And in a perfect world, on a spreadsheet, that math works. But we don't live in a spreadsheet.
No.
One uninsured lawsuit or one major medical event can wipe out that entire investment portfolio in an afternoon. You can't outsave a catastrophe in the early stages.
So if it happens in year 3, your investment account just isn't big enough to absorb it.
Not even close. The insurance buys you the time to build the wealth. Later in life, when you have $5 million in the bank, maybe you can drop the life insurance. You become self-insured, but not in the building phase.
Okay. And the third one?
The emergency fund fallacy. Thinking that your 3 to 6 months of cash from Step 7 covers everything.
I've got $20,000 in the bank. I'm good.
Right. It feels like a lot of money. But an emergency fund covers a temporary job loss or a transmission repair. It does not cover a permanent disability where you can never work again.
Different tools for different jobs.
There's different tools for different horizons. Don't ask a savings account to do an insurance policy's job.
So, practically speaking, how do we implement this? We have listeners who might be feeling a little exposed right now. Where do they start?
Okay, we use 3 levers of practical protection. Lever 1 is awareness. You have to identify the single biggest vulnerability in your specific life.
The hard question.
The really hard questions. If I couldn't work for 6 months starting tomorrow, what happens to my family? If I got sued, what do they take? You have to look the monster in the eye.
Stop avoiding it. Okay, lever 2.
Lever 2 is diversification. This is a structural protection. Never have a single point of failure. If you have one income source, one client, one asset class, you're fragile.
So an asset owner builds redundancies over time.
Redundancy. That's a great engineering word for it. 2 engines are better than one, and lever 3 is strategic insurance.
This is where you actually sign the contracts.
This is where you sign the contracts. We're talking about specific tools. Disability insurance to protect your income, term life insurance to protect your dependents, umbrella policies for liability, and of course, health insurance.
You mentioned term life. That's a distinction worth noting. The Golden Path strategy generally favors pure protection, right? Not mixing it with investing.
Generally, yes. The philosophy is to keep insurance as insurance and investments as investments. Things like whole life can sometimes mix the two, which can lead to high fees and lower efficiency. We want pure, efficient shields.
Buy term and invest the difference. A classic for a reason. And this isn't a set it and forget it thing forever, is it?
No, it evolves. A renter at 25 needs very different shields than a business owner at 45 with 3 kids and a mortgage. You have to review it as your system grows.
Okay, so we've stabilized the orbit. The shields are up. I want to give our listeners something to do this week, because this is the step that people love to procrastinate on.
They really do. It's easier to research stocks than it is to research life insurance because it forces you to think about mortality and disaster. It's unpleasant. But here's the weekly challenge. Conduct a personal risk audit.
What does that look like?
Sit down this weekend. Just take 20 minutes and identify one significant unmanaged risk, the one you are actively avoiding thinking about.
The one that keeps you up at night.
The one that keeps you up at night. Maybe you realize you have no will. Maybe you realize if you got hit by a bus, your income stops instantly and your family has 0 runway. Identify it.
And then?
Then take one concrete action. Make the call. Schedule the consultation with an agent. Pull out your old policy and actually read the fine print. Just move from the state of denial to the state of systematic protection.
Just one step. You don't have to solve it all by Friday. Just start the process.
Exactly. A small step in protection often creates a massive amount of peace of mind. And that peace of mind, that's what lets you sleep at night so you can focus on stage 3.
Before we wrap up and look ahead to the exciting stuff, buying assets, we do need to pause for a very important disclaimer. We've talked about some heavy legal and financial concepts.
At this point, it's important to pause and clarify something essential.
Right.
This episode is not financial advice. It presents a structured thinking framework only. There are no guarantees.
And responsibility for decisions remains entirely with you, the listener.
This content is for educational purposes only. The fact that this strategy worked for its creator, Tamir Kaham, does not mean it will automatically work for you.
Because your circumstances, your goals, your risk tolerance, it's all different.
Completely. Listeners must evaluate independently and consult qualified professionals, insurance agents, lawyers, advisors, before making significant financial, investment, legal, or tax decisions.
Absolutely. You are the asset owner. You make the calls. Don't outsource your brain.
So, to synthesize what we've done today, a wise asset owner protects the present to enable the future. We're moving from fragile, where one crisis can destroy me, to resilient,
where my system absorbs the shocks.
Exactly.
You've protected your path. You've built shields around what you're building, which means we are finally ready for the offense.
Yeah.
In episode 10, we move to step 11, asset acquisition strategy. We'll cover how to transition from saver to investor, how to choose income-producing assets, and why this step is the beginning of true wealth building.
That is where the fun really begins. We are finally moving from defense to offense.
Make sure you subscribe for the full series so you don't miss that transition to stage 3. Each deep dive delivers 1 or 2 clear steps forward. And you definitely want to join the YouTube channel for visuals and more episodes on the strategy. It's called The Golden Path to Financial Independence.
That is at youtube.com/back/@ capital Tamir, capital GOLD, capital PATH.
That's at Tamir Goldpath. Or you can just search YouTube for The Golden Path to Financial Independence.
See you in episode 10.
See you in episode 10, where we finally move from protection to growth.